Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back again, and we're going to be talking about the Swiss referendum. And we got to go ahead and take a look at the referendum, which basically involves environmental responsibility. Over 70% of the Swiss population came out overwhelmingly to reject a ballot measure that would enforce environmental responsibility. You would say this would be a huge win for more of conservatism. But we got to go ahead and read and learn a little bit more about this referendum, what it's basically entailing. The February referendum, there's another referendum on May that we will be talking about also. But this referendum, only one popular initiative made it to the ballot for this first poll of the year. The Environmental Responsibility Initiative, supported by the youth branch of Green Party. If accepted, Switzerland would have 10 years to reduce consumption and economic activity to sustainable levels. The initiative did not indicate how these objectives should be met. Both the Federal Council and Parliament recommended voters to reject the initiative, which ended up being soundly defeated. So, obviously, you got to understand the Federal Council and Parliament. Switzerland is more of this European establishment, but you take a look at the map, it's very conservative. Very, very conservative. Very rarely does it elect presidents and leaders that are liberal. Every year, I want to believe, there is an election for Switzerland, if I am not mistaking that. But Switzerland, very conservative, and ultimately, the Parliament and the Federal Council being occupied by conservatives, they're saying, hey guys, you need to go out and vote against this. And I would vote against it too, because Switzerland is a big country of establishment. It is more of it's a conservative country, but with socially liberal tendencies. It is more friendly towards the transgender, the LGBT. They're very kind of woke. You can compare the conservatives in Switzerland to the conservatives in the UK. Very pushover. They're very pushy. Not that pushy. They don't have a grip. They don't really stand for anything. But ultimately, I'm proud that they came out and they said, hey, look, there's too much big government in Switzerland. We need to reject this environmental responsibility because, I'm sorry, it is big government. Keep in mind, the liberals didn't seem to really come out and push for the this ballot measure. 37.94% of Swiss came out to vote in this election. Only 37%. And that's a low turnout. Then again, you got to understand, this is a referendum. Now, referendums don't really get that much attention. Same case in the United States. In fact, hey, this is our very first referendum or ballot measure where we're talking about a country. Interesting. Well, yep, but Switzerland has two more. One in November and four more. Excuse me. 18th of May, the 28th of September, and the 11th of November. So, yeah, we have a couple ballot measures, but this one happens to be the February referendum involving environmental responsibility. That one was solidly defeated, and with good reason, because Europe, although it's pretty conservative, the word conservative is very different compared to the conservative here. Everyone thinks of how big Europe's very controlling in regards to their free speech, very big government, and you would think, oh, this is liberal. Yeah, in the United States, that would be called liberal, but actually, the liberal left in Europe is more pro-Russia, more pro-Lukashenko, pro-Putin, pro-East. They are in love with China, and they believe that they are against NATO. And ultimately, the conservatives over there, they tend to support NATO in Europe. The really far right, though, is against NATO. They're kind of more isolationists. as you know, ancestral nationalism, bringing back the former traditions of their countries. That's the very far right. But this is the center right, and this is obviously what they stand for: the NATO alliance, I would say not Western patriotism. It's us against the East. Neoconservatism's big in Europe, and Switzerland, although is not involved at all in regards to NATO. They aren't involved in regards to Russia. They still remain very influenced, especially in regards to the social culture in Switzerland. They believe in huge tolerance when abortion. Abortion, I want to believe, is legal in Switzerland. Very legal, along with gay marriage, transgender. I want to believe that euthanasia is, of course, assisted suicide is also very recommended and defended in Switzerland, which is crazy. But this is so-called a conservative country. Socially liberal, but fiscally and economically conservative. And although it surprised me at first because how big government Switzerland is crazy. There's also a lot of liberals in Switzerland, but there are conservatives, quote unquote, that support gay marriage and all that stuff, and they will vote conservative down the ballot despite that. But ultimately, this is a huge win for the Swiss conservative movement. A huge L for the Green Party. For the youth branch, which obviously is the younger generation, the younger student movement pushed for this very big government an approach about basically pushing it to sustainable levels. Well, what is sustainable levels? All I know is looking at Switzerland, it's a big government country. Along with every country in Europe. I want to believe Slovakia is okay, and more of these Eastern countries I've noticed, they went through big government during communism, and they're like, okay, we don't want anything about it. We want anything to do with authoritarianism, but it seems like the West, which they haven't really gone through that, they are dead set on making their government big. But this measure is a huge win for conservatives, 69.84%, almost 70%. Who knows? It may have been much closer if the rest of the Swiss population came out. Very little people participated. In total, 635,000 voters came out to vote in this ballot measure. Obviously, votes. Okay, never mind. My bad. There's over 1 million. Yes votes only got 635,000. Over 1 million voted no, which is very good compared to Switzerland. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this short video and this ballot measure? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.